Hey everybody, welcome back. This is another filler week because, you know, I gotta feed the flock with content. That's like what YouTubers do. Oh, by the way, you can get a Geography Now mug or Geography Now shirt at geographynow.com. Not selling out if it's your brand. I say that because, you know, in the past, some of you guys have accused me of selling out, and I kind of did to some brands that I wasn't really. Anyway, so we've done videos like this in the past before, you know, like the shortest lived countries in the world, or like countries that don't exist anymore. I kind of find stuff like that fascinating. It's very interesting to see those stories of things that either could have happened or did happen, but didn't really transpire, because it tells you a story about the world and how the people in it think. So here's another topical video. I'm gonna call it countries that almost existed, because all of these countries I'm about to mention were countries that were only proposed but were never fully manifested. So let's jump into it. Oh man, my teleprompter's going fast. I gotta slow that down. I can't read that fast. I'm too stupid. First one, Intermarium, meaning between seas. Intermarium, get it? Basically, Europe, World War I, post-World War I, they all had to kind of figure things out as the dust was settling. It was a big turning point. You know, Ottoman Empire was taken down, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, all these empires were like crumbling down. It was crazy. In response to the ever-growing Russian Empire that was getting a little concerning for all those in mainland Europe, Polish politician Józef Piłsudski proposed Intermarium, which was sort of supposed to act as like a revival to the former Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, with a little extra extending all the way from the Baltics to the Black Sea to the Adriatic. He wanted to show his big guns to the Russians. It was propped up under the geopolitical vision of Prometheanism, or dismemberment and weakening of the Russian Empire and its acquisitions. If it was to happen, it would have made them the second largest country in Europe after Russia. By the way, there's nothing in this cup. I don't know why I'm holding it. Unfortunately, Piłsudski's vision was met with skepticism. The Lithuanians saw it as like a threat to their newly established independence, which wouldn't really last that long, and the Ukrainians saw it as a threat to their desired independence, which wouldn't happen. Eventually, all the territories within the perceived realm either fell to the Russians or Nazi Germans or Yugoslav forces, and you know the rest of the story. Number two, let's talk about the Republic of Pontus. So a little disclaimer, we've talked about the interesting social dynamics between Greeks and Turks on this channel quite a few times, so it's no shocker that another geopolitical incident gets brought up between them. Long story short, way back yeehaw in antiquity, Greeks inhabited much of the Anatolian Peninsula and left their marks. They were basically divided into three regional types: modern Greeks, Pontic, and Cappadocian. Around 800 BC, the Greeks established the Pontus region along the Black Sea coast in what is now northern Turkey, hence why they are called Pontic or Black Sea Greeks. Even during Ottoman Empire times, when it was conquered, it was pretty much left alone, and the Turks just kind of let them live their Greek lives being Greeks. Plus, the geographical layout with all the mountains made it more difficult for them to even really care. They're just like, look, you're under our domain, but you do your thing. Ottoman Empire, kind of, mostly, until the very end, but we'll get to that later. Things did get kind of a little weird though when Greece actually gained their modern independence in 1830, and then they were left looking at all these detached Greek communities in the Anatolian Peninsula, you know, the remnants of their former empire past. It was like, hey, Pontus, Caesarea, Smyrna, how you doing? Okay, yeah, look, we're a fully recognized independent sovereign nation now. Oh, cool. I mean, I'm just throwing this out there. I mean, you're Greek just like us, and you're living in the lands that our ancestors had conquered a long time ago. Just saying. Yeah, but things are just, they're a little different now. Yeah, no costumes for that one, minimal effort. Fast forward to World War I, yeah, like we said, it was kind of a turning point for a lot of places in Europe. The Paris Peace Conference was held, and the proposed state was brought up, which would have made a detached exclave of Greece, which was weird. The plan was scrapped, and then Turkey went on the offense, and most of the Pontic Greeks were either expelled or killed. That is a topic that's gonna open up another can of worms that we're not gonna get into. Have fun in the comments if you want. I'm just saying what it is. Number three, the Fertile Crescent Plan. And yeah, in terms of the actual name of the country, they didn't even really fully come up with one. It was just called the Fertile Crescent Plan. They're like, yeah, we'll come up with a name later. This is just the plan. Now, this is an interesting one. So like, if you remember in the Egypt and Syria episodes, we talked about the United Arab Republic and how it lasted for only like 3 years, but like Syria still kept the flag for some reason. Anyway, well, this one is kind of similar. It was a proposed state by the Hashemite royal family, or the Jordanian royal family, after World War II for the union between Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, and areas of what are now considered Israel and Palestine. Nuri as-Said, Prime Minister of Iraq at the time, took the opportune moment to suggest it to the British forces when it looked like France was giving up on Syria. So he was like, now's our chance. Let's bring it to the Syrian forces. Unfortunately, when they heard that proposition, they didn't take it very well, and They kind of hated it. Pretty much they were opposed to it because it would A, require them to live under Hashemite monarchy, and B, the Hashemites were cool with working with the British, which the Syrians were not. Nonetheless, the Fertile Crescent plan was still moving forward and negotiations were underway. Eventually though, there was a coup d'etat in the 50s and the Iraqi monarchy was overthrown in 1958, and that kind of squelched all future plans for a Fertile Crescent plan. It's always Syria that gets involved in these like pan-Arab drama moments in history, I swear. It's always Syria. Syria, man, you guys never get a break. United Bengal. So basically in the 40s, specifically in 1947, India got independence from the British, and that's when things started to kind of move forward. Prime Minister of Bengal, this guy, Hussein Shahid Surawadi, he was at a press conference and addressed his proposition to disregard Bengal partition lines under former British control, and he made a plea to set aside the religious differences amongst the Bengali people for a united sovereign Bengal. So for those of you that are not too familiar with the situation, basically when India got independence, most of the Muslims migrated to the areas of what are now Bangladesh or Pakistan. The issue though was, unlike Pakistan, which was formed by multiple people groups, Bengali is actually an ethnic group with its own language, customs, and traditions. The majority of Bengalis in Bangladesh are Muslim, whereas the majority in India are Hindu. One people, Bengalis, but split amongst religion. So you could see this was the biggest source of the divide amongst them. Although they shared the same language, customs, and probably even genetic phenotypes, the partition was mostly based on religion. In his plea, Surawadi said, "Let us pause for a moment to consider what Bengal can be if it remains united. It can be a great country indeed, the richest and the most prosperous in India, capable of giving to its people a high standard of living, where a great people will be able to rise to the fullest height of their stature, a land that will truly be plentiful, it will be rich in agriculture, rich in industry and commerce, and in course of time it will be one of the powerful and progressive states of the world. If Bengal remains united, this will be no dream, no fantasy." Now, as impassioned as his speech was, it was not enough to win all the Bengal Legislative Assembly's votes. It was a 106 to 35 vote in 1947, and later they voted to join Pakistan if the partition was implemented. So they were like, we gotta make a deal. If the partition stays, we will join Pakistan and become East Pakistan, and they become West Pakistan. And then we all kind of know how that went down. The Indian subcontinent, man. So many things happened here, it's crazy. But in any case, we gotta move on. Finally, Patria Grande, or the Great Fatherland. This was a very ballsy proposition coined in 1922 by Argentine writer and politician Manuel Ugarte. He gave lots of speeches across many countries in Latin America, and he was passionate about this movement. Basically, in the Hispanic world, we've seen many propositions for regional unions. Some succeeded for a short time, like Gran Colombia. Mexico even had an empire with Guatemala for like 1 year. In Central America, man, like they unified and then dismembered like 8 times. You never know what's gonna happen in that area. But this proposition was like the biggest one yet. Ugarte basically dreamed of every single Hispanic country to be unified into one state, stretching from the Patagonian coast all the way up to Mexico, including the Hispanic Caribbean. Now, today, the closest thing to this Patria Grande concept would, I guess, kind of be like Mercosur, which kind of acts as like a multinational cooperative union between countries in South America, including Brazil. I actually experienced this whole Mercosur benefit thing when I crossed over from Iguazu to Paraguay, Ciudad del Este. They didn't even bother to check my passport because they almost treat like land border crossings like they're just like states in the USA or like countries in the EU. It's like, we get it, you're part of us, just go, whatever. By the way, Iguazu Falls, such an underrated cool place. Diogo, my favorite Brazilian, my go-to Brazilian guy, thank you so much for taking us there and showing us around. Some former leaders of South American countries have actually entertained this union concept and have slithered it somehow into their politics, weaving it into their rhetoric. Today, however, the words Patria Grande are more often referred to just the concept of all Hispanic countries rather than an actualized political union between them. Even Pope Francis referred to Patria Grande in his prayer for Argentina on its bicentennial. In any case, if there's one thing I've learned, it's that the Hispanic world is very crazy diverse, and it's definitely not a monolith. Like an Argentine will have very little in common with like a Guatemalan, like a Chilean will have very little in common with a Dominican, other than the fact that they both talk really, really fast, apparently. I heard Chileans have like the weirdest accent. Like, you're better off learning Portuguese than Chilean Spanish. Anywho, in conclusion, there are a lot more other countries that almost happened or did happen, but for a short time, or I don't know. I just like doing these because it kind of tells a story of what people were thinking and considering at some point in time, and that can tell you a lot about how this world operates. But anyway, yeah, kind of want to just throw it back to you guys. What do you think are some topical videos you would like me to see? That you would like to see me doing? Like, what do you want me to talk about? What do you want me to cover? We could also do the administrative division videos as well, but you know, there's some other cool stuff we could talk about. Throw it back this way. I'll try to make it happen. Thanks for watching. Cheers. I got a lot more cool topical videos coming your way in the future. Stay cool. Stay tuned.